Good morning, traders. Welcome. Today's video, we will be covering two pairs that I currently have just entered on the back end of the London session just before the New York session open. The two pairs we will be discussing are GBP CHF and AUD CHF. So since we're already on the AUD CHF chart, I guess I can start with that analysis. So we took this for a short term intraday long. I'm looking to be out hopefully in the next couple of hours, but I am prepared to hold this overnight until sometime in the New York London session for tomorrow. So this trade actually was roughly just over a 1 to 5. We're at a 5.8 risk to reward, risking 1% to gain just over 5%, including spreads, commissions, etc. So let me do a thorough top-down analysis of what I saw, what prompted me for this trade. As you can see, we're actually zoomed in quite a bit. We're on the 15-minute chart. Due to my weekly market analysis on Sunday, didn't really see too much developing. That's kind of what held up a upload. So that's why we're doing it today. And I didn't find this opportunity until really the hour-ish before that the hour before the New York Open. And I decided to execute and get in, hopefully, like I said before, to be in and out, hopefully in the next couple of hours, but I am prepared to hold. So first things first, I started on the hour chart. I looked at some analysis on where we were on the chart. I do have some previous markups or some other trades here. As you can tell, price was in an uptrend. We had this prompting, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and a higher low. And then eventually we created I would say a high. It did not break above this. So this for me gave me a sign of momentum shifting. And then you can tell that price collapsed dramatically. This is a huge candle here. So for me, just by identifying this type of candle for me is an imbalance in the market. This is an inefficiency. So for me, this is also deeming as a magnet where price wants to fill this imbalance in the market. So basically, we would call this maybe a course correction in the chart. So basically, what I'm saying is from here to here, we have a potential gap that needs to be filled. And you can see that this gap being filled is within my intraday long. So it's still within this box. So for me, another confluence of why price would continue in this direction and the upward trend for a very short time. Like I said, this is not a long-term trend trade. This is just a short-term in and out trade. So we saw that, and then we also went to the 4 hour. Didn't really see too much, pretty much the same thing. We had more of a better analysis on the hour time frame. I did end up drawing my fibs, like this swing high to this swing low, and honestly, I was looking for somewhere around that 61.8 level just for another confluence, because that's probably one of the strongest rejection zones. So for me, there might be some struggle resistance here. We also see a form of a support and resistance where they were support, where then later then price may potential be some form of resistance. But I'm okay with that as long as price can kind of break through this, and maybe we touch this, continue to fill, and then continue back in the downtrend. And then once we prompt that area, that will change my bias. I would probably draw my trend lines here based off the 4 hour, see where price is rejecting, see if we're at the 61.8 or 78.6, etc. And then I would probably short. So this is how I'm capitalizing on trades and taking trades in either direction, whether going long or going short. And I'm doing this over and over and over again. So back to the thorough analysis. We can look at the daily. Like I said, really wasn't too much there. We do see price is kind of ranging in this I would say channel of some sort. So for me, I still can see price still bouncing back within here with my intraday trade. So let me jump back down to the 4 hour to the 1 hour. It's not really clear. I can jump down to the 15-minute chart here and let me clear some things up so I can kind of get you to see what I saw. So you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete my tools, and let's see here. So basically, let's jump back up, clean chart, don't see much. We're dropping on the 15-minute. This is an intraday trade. I draw my trend line, looking for where price could potentially be acting as a form of support. And we drew our trend lines roughly from this swing low to this other point here. We have price rejecting. This is the first tap that initially prompted us for the trend line. That's the first tap. Then we have the second tap. Then we have the third and fourth tap here. And then price was actually printing at this time. So price basically, we saw this. So basically, let me make this black for you so you can kind of see what I was. So basically, I saw everything promptly up into this point here, and then this is what gave me a bias where price could potentially come from this area and then potentially print here, and then eventually print up to our making a higher high, targeting a -27 or the -61.8. So this is where we were in the market. This was printing in every 15-minute intervals. We ended up drawing our fibs. We took it from this swing low to this swing high. And then we can see that price came down to this, roughly this 50%. And we actually then ended up drawing our fib tricks as well. And we drew our fibs from here to here, from this swing high to this swing low, and we then create this fib trick box. Basically, it's the move within the move that's being completed within the retracement that aligns up with the 50%. The 50% is still a very strong rejection zone on the Fibonacci level. So we have 1, we have our trend line. We have 2, we have our fib 50%. 3, we have our fib trick. 4, we have a bias that we are trending above the 50 EMA on this intraday trade. So I have 4 confluences, 4 confirmations for executing this trade. And I actually ended up having to go down to the 5-minute chart because I needed to see some variation of a candle analysis. Before that, actually, this is actually more what happened. I ended up seeing a more inefficiency, which is another method of a SMC concept that I've took a little bit of that and kind of put my own spin on it. And basically, there is a imbalance here and gave me that 5th and final confirmation, basically, of that I really want to exit on this, on the top of this gray box here of my fair value gap. So I ended up putting my limit order somewhere along that realm, the 52,306. The spread put me in. I'd have to look at my my trade to see my actual entry price down to the T. So you can see that price wicked almost exactly to what we were talking about in that fair value gap. We were looking for price action as well, but we already had the limit order executed. We were actually put in the trade almost exactly right there. And then we later on see that reversal candle here. And that was another signal for a potential buy, which is a doji. And then we later on get that nice price action right there, and price continues to trend upwards. As far as our stop loss, we ended up putting our stop loss, like I said, what's the rule? Just outside the next Fibonacci level zone, or just outside of the fib trick. I believe it was about still in the trade, so I think it's like 4 or 5 pips. I have to go check it. And then we actually went back up to the 15-minute to see where price could potentially go, and we are 6.35, and it's like a one. It's like a 1 to 5. Um, it's like somewhere along here, and basically, price is currently running at the moment. Price is still printing as of right now, and we are looking to move our stops to break even. Hopefully, in the next, I would say, the next 2 to 3 hours. If price does not hit this area by the next 2 to 3 hours, I will probably move my stop loss to break even at this equal high and let the trade run risk free, and to make sure I um, mitigate my any type of risk that I have open. So that's pretty much that trade. Then we also have GBP CHF. We have a pretty much same thing, pretty much along here. We're on the 15-minute chart. This is more of an intraday trade. Let me jump up to the hour chart. First things first, we saw that this trend line, we had price trending downward on the hour chart. We also had these two nice wicks here that created this other trend line here, giving a bias of potential, some type of potential upswing. We do also have a inverted head and shoulders here, and that also gave me more of a bias that we could potentially be breaking to the upside on an intraday. And so we have the left shoulder there, we have the head. You could bring it down here. I'm just going to bring it to here. You know what? I'll bring it up here. But this is basically what it is of the inverted head and shoulders. And then we have the right shoulder there. And then price is potentially running up, potentially to this equal high. This is kind of what I saw as far as an area of resistance, as price kind of struggled here. And they continue downward. So, and also it's almost in alignment, almost like that, exactly to my 61.8. So that's pretty much my analysis on the hour chart. Didn't really see too much of a difference on the 4 hour, very choppy. We actually jumped down to the hour, to the 15-minute chart, to kind of thoroughly give a better market analysis on this trade. So considering we're sitting on top of this trend line, we're breaking out of this trend line and potentially retesting on this trend line. So for me, this was a form of support. I actually ended up pulling out my fibs from this swing low, to this swing high, and brought us to around that 50%, almost to the 61.8 zone. And I end up pulling out my fibs to do a fib trick. And I pulled out my fibs. Let me zoom in here. There's a lot going on here. I actually ended up having to zoom into the 5-minute now that I'm thinking back on this. I ended up zooming to the 5-minute, and I pulled my fib trick from this swing high to this swing low around here, had price retrace, came back, created our fib trick zone. See, there's the minus 27 and the 61.8, and this was our fib trick zone. And then on the going back up to the 1 hour, our fibs were from this swing low to this swing high, and as you can tell, price then the wick down to our Fibonacci fib trick level, and we actually entered somewhere along the lines of this box here. And the reason for the trade, I actually had a fair value gap here, and I ended up putting another limit order. I think those were maybe like 645. Let's see what it was. 650. Okay, so pretty close to what I took the trade, and that actually automatically put me into the market. And the trade was about a 1 to 5 as well. And going back up to the 15-minute for more clarity, we are taking the trade up to the minus 68 level for our overall take profit 2 level. There is some form of exhaustion here. I do see a double top, but I'm fairly confident that price will continue upward in this Monday market, and I'm looking to move my stops to break even here. So if these two trades go well, we will be up roughly 10% for the week. I am looking at a couple of other pairs, but like I said, I don't want to overtrade. I don't want to over leverage, and I want to make sure I'm always in control of my risk for optimal growth. So until then, I will give you an update probably tomorrow on the outcome of these two pairs and any other pairs that I'm looking at for the remaining of the week. So if you're liking these videos, please give a like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.